it's George. I want to say thank you for stopping by again and following with me as I go on my CNC and now my laser journey. I purchased the Xtool D1 laser, and I'm telling you, I haven't moved it much off the bench. In fact, I'm really enjoying this tool. It's a lot of fun. One of my subscribers, when I purchased this, one of my subscribers went on my affiliate link and purchased it. It's the first time I've made any money off of YouTube. Really kind of funny. But very small commission, but every little bit helps. It'll certainly make a guy smile. So thank you. What I want to do today is I want to go over and share with you some of the projects that I've been building out and how they work into organizing my shop. Then we'll come back. I'm going to start a project on the Xtool, and when we come back, I'll show you how it works. It'll take about the same amount of time for the Xtool to engrave this piece as it will for me to share with you the things that I want to share you on the CNC. So let's go over there and check that out. Before I start sharing about my CNC and my adventure, first thing I want to show you is a picture of the wall behind me before I got started. Now, the first thing that I did was I purchased a rolling toolbox and a great big butcher block to put my Stepcraft M1000 on. That was one of the first steps that I took. After I got those basics and the wiring that I needed to run both the dust collection system, the vacuum system, the air compressor, and the CNC machine all worked out, then I started on with the French cleat wall system. Now, this is a piece of wood that I just recently cut out, and I'm going to show you some projects that I made from this piece of wood. But I want to kind of make a point first. And this is another piece of wood that I've glued up. It's going to be another project that I've got in mind. It's a combination of maple, a piece of black walnut, and some cherry. I like striped wood on my French cleat walls. So what I'm doing now is I'm building out all the tool holders for my French cleat wall. Now, this is one, believe it or not, it's a tool holder. And this is for my Rockler bench cookie that is a sanding tool. You put this on top of your bench, and it has a foam rubber on both sides. It'll hold the piece in place. So if you're sanding, you can put it on here. It won't mar the surface that you have, and you can easily clean this. It's something that I find it to be a very useful tool, and I wanted it to go right in there like that. Now, this was made out of wood that came out of my dad's shop. And my dad always pointed out to me all the mistakes that I made, and I've got a pretty critical eye myself over the years. And one of the things I did wrong, I should have centered this, because there was a little bit of a difference in the pieces that I glued together. I should have centered the color. It's a little bit lopsided. But this is the type of thing that over a period of time, with experience, it's going to go away. I'm sure that if I were centering something and I had really noticed that there was a wood difference, I wouldn't have made that mistake. But these are the types of things that you're going to notice as you go along. Because I had so much more material to utilize, I took like these. These were 3 holes that I took out to make a little holders for my lights and for action cameras. I take and incorporate this circular design, industrial circular design, in almost all the pieces, so that I have a way to put a light if I want to do some videography, or even if I wanted to see a little bit better. Now this piece here, this is a holder for my French cleat wall, and it's for my board butter. Some people call this different things. It's 50% mineral oil and 50% beeswax. You melt them together, and you've got a very inexpensive, food-safe board protector, and it works really good with, how do I say this? It works really good for something like this. It's very inexpensive, looks very nice, gives a great satin finish, and sitting out in my shop, there's no reason to spend a whole bunch of money on this for the effect that I wanted. It's not going to have any wear and tear on it. It'll just sit there looking pretty. This is another piece that I made, and this will hold a display cutting board. One of my friends comes over, if they like the board that's in there, I'll engrave it up for them. Maybe they get a good gift. Now, what else and what tips do I have for CNCers today? This PVC. This piece happens to be filled up with sand, and the reason for it is it'll hold its shape when you heat it if there's sand inside it. So I'm going to take like a heat gun remover, paint remover, and I'm going to bend this, and then I'm going to put it right up here. This is approximately a 1-inch diameter. It'll fit right in there. I'll just seal this up. I'll run it down that side, add a couple of cleats, and there I've got a very good system going into my Xtool dust collection that comes off of the boot of the M1000. One of the other things that, because I had to put all this electrical together in one spot, I needed an air compressor because I have a pneumatic tool changer and automatic tool changer that came with the M1000. Every time I wanted to use the air compressor and the plug, or I'll call it the nipple, that is like this, it goes in the compressor, I literally have to turn the compressor off and drain it. There was so much pressure, I couldn't release it from here. So what I did was I got a splitter. This way, if I want to blow something off that I've got a little dust on, get it off the motor of the CNC machine, whatever, then I don't have to go changing around. $25 at Lowe's, really a handy little tool. So if you're fighting with your air compressor, this could be, a little bit of a hint of a way to get around that. Now, 2 more things about CNCs and Stepcraft specifically. There's a rumor they got something new coming. I don't know what it is. Somebody speculated that it was a 3D printing pad, an upgrade to that. I don't know what it is. I have a feeling that it may be a new CNC machine. I've been watching their site, and they have put together a really nice package for about $5,200 for a machine that looks pretty decent. I'm going to put a link to that down in the description, so if you're shopping for a machine, it's one to consider. Now, I'm in the market to buy another CNC because I want to move to doing inlaid pieces. I want to do very fancy inlaid cutting boards. Now, if it takes 4 hours to do the carve for one side, and it's going to take 4 hours to do the carve for the other side, that's 8 hours. I don't know that I want to spend 8 hours. If I had another machine, it could be there. So I'm looking at other machines. I have no allegiance to Stepcraft, other than I've had a very, I'm happy with my machine and I've had great success. One more thing. When you get a CNC, sometimes the control panel is kind of like a computer that is in these. They don't pull much power. Now, this particular machine, the M1000, does not have an on-off switch. Now, if you were to get a power surge, kind of like a power surge to your computer, that probably wouldn't be good for the board. Now, I live in an area where we're kind of famous for power surges. We don't really like Arizona power. So what I did was I just took an on-off switch surge protector and I turned my machine on and off with that surge protector. So if you're in that same situation and your machine doesn't turn on and off, the surge protector is probably the way to go. Now, I didn't see this in the instructions, so it's just something that I knew, and it was a discussion that I had with somebody in the emails. I'm very thankful for all you guys that write to me. If you have any questions, please answer. You'll find even in the comments that I leave on YouTube that I'm happy to take this off forum per se and have a discussion. Let's go back over to the Xtool D1, see how that project came out, and I'm going to give you a little hint for how I carved something in cork. So as we were talking CNC, this cut on the Xtool D1, not really a bad job at all. This was a pencil holder that I made using the box gadget and Vectric on the CNC machine. It holds my pencils. At one point in time, I was using a piece of plastic for a wood shop doesn't really make much sense. So I did that. One of my friends had an operation on her knee. She, of course, I wanted to take her some flowers or something. And I thought, you know what? I had gone to, I think, Hobby Lobby, and I had purchased this cork. There were 2 pieces of it. And what I did was I took, and she has a bloodhound. I took a picture of the bloodhound and I said, let's walk at the bottom, because to rehabilitate her knee, she's going to have to walk. I'm telling you, it was the most satisfying feeling giving her that gift. She really, really loved it. Her and her husband walk her dog every day. This dog, what a great dog it is. Now, when I cut it, I did, from the Xtool, get a little extra smoke. The carbon buildup on the top of this was not good, and I tried to get it off using just a paper towel, and all I did was rub it in. So what I did was I took it over to the sink, I put a little bit of soft scrub with a Scotch-Brite towel, came out perfectly. I was fearful that I had left the degree of the strength of the laser a little bit too high when I had done the cut. Also, I have done a water bottle for one of my friends who's a vegan. I oriented it wrong, and one of the things that I figured out is if I had just taken a can and put it in the roller to check my orientation and the way that it would have come out, it would have cost me nothing instead of a $10 water bottle. I got the orientation wrong, but what I did was I flipped it around and put it a couple different directions, so no matter which way you held the water bottle, it was going to be good to go. This is a glass. Now, I've seen a couple of different materials that people will put on the piece of glass. I want to make a tumbler. We'll see how this turns out, but I just used automotive primer, but I think this will probably work. What else have I got going on? There is a rotary device that Xtool has come out with, and I think I'm going to purchase one of them. What it does is instead of putting this on a flat rail where you'd have to prop it up or put a CNC milled piece on this end so that when it goes across the laser it's level, it will actually level it. I'll clip a little piece of the video from their site. I will put my affiliate link down at the bottom if anybody wants to buy one. I mean, I was amazed anybody ever used it, but there it is. Come back. The next thing that I'm going to do, I started all this to make extremely fancy cutting boards. I may buy another CNC, as I said earlier, to accomplish that. And I've drafted up an in-cut board. I've cut it up. I'm ready to do the engraving in it. I've got the right bits, but I need to make sure that my tool paths are correct. If anybody out there knows about this stuff and wants to drop me an email, tell me where I can get the best feeds and speeds and depths, how to do that in Vectric, I'd appreciate it. If not, in the next video, I'll share with everybody how I found it and what the end product looks like. It's going to be something for one of my friends in the Midwest that likes pulled pork. I wish you the best. Please have a good one, and know you can make this stuff. This Xtool is really easy to use. CNC and Vectric, that's a little different, but the quality of product that you can get out, sort of like this, I mean, I'm impressed with that. I really like this. You have a good day. Thank you.